Now, there's another, I think, more creative way you could pay for some learning. I think you could take the money out of your own wallets and go after some anti-racism training, as you said you were interested in, and pay for it yourselves, just like you're asking those kids at the Kettle Center on a quarterly basis to take money out of their wallets.
What's so annoying about this guy is you have no idea what he's talking about. Even if there is a true issue, they never actually specify, and it's always very generalizing, always attacking, and always talking about racism. And he's telling them they need to go educate themselves, I guess by buying his book. And it's weird because he's almost an eloquent speaker. He's got a nice voice. I wondered if he was a minister or something and he was just practicing his craft, really. But he tells a story about having dinner with a woman and how she starts to cry. And just notice how he's not saying a damn thing.
To participate in the Kettle Center. I think that would be a good use of your time and energy.
Take your time.
The despicable kinds of results that we've identified for 3 years are hard to itemize over and over and over again. But I had lunch with a friend in Connecticut over the weekend.
Okay, so what? Hard to itemize over and over again, but I had lunch with a friend in Connecticut. Okay.
I was talking bit about what's going on in Peekskill.
Okay, and just one example, please?
At her request. And I had no agenda to be even talking about racism in Peekskill. And I talked about some of the specifics. I talked about examples.
Specifics. Examples. Let's pull out my thesaurus and come up with 10 more words to say specifics and examples and really not give any.
And I saw tears welling up in her eyes.
Okay, hold on. Now she's crying. Okay.
And she's a brilliant, strong, competent woman. And she couldn't believe.
She couldn't believe what? She's crying. She's in shock over...
Under your watch, those things were happening.
What things? What things? All right, I got to rewind this because notice I'm not cutting anything out. He has not said a damn thing. Who is this guy?
That we are calling on your resignation, and we're asking to please have some leadership here that can turn this city into what its potential is and not be anchored by racism and the kinds of behavior we've seen for the last 3 months. Now, can you understand? Can you handle this? I honestly doubt it. But you said you'd go to training. You said you'd get educated. Case in point, September 27th, 2010, 48.00 on the count, on the video. October 12th, 2010, 30.50 seconds on the video. November 8th, 2010, 16.00 on the video. There are all kinds of documentation where you said you'd do things. And no matter what the intent, the results are they haven't been done, you haven't understood racism, you haven't grasped it, and that's racism.
That's what I mean. Okay, I'm just going to let it play because it's just unbelievable. How long does it take to say absolutely nothing? This guy is so annoying.
Do you understand? That is racism. Promises denied, hopes bashed, leadership platitudes. That's a lot about what white America is about, and you've modeled it beautifully. You probably could have saved $40,000 and not had the public relations whitewashing and put that money into some good training, learning about education, learning about leadership, learning about yourselves and racism. You could have used that money and it would have had a lot more impact than some of what I think you're doing in terms of the whitewashing. Now, there's another, I think, more creative way you could pay for some learning. I think you could take the money out of your own wallets and go after some anti-racism training, as you said you were interested in, and pay for it yourselves, just like you're asking those kids at the Kylie Center on a quarterly basis to take money out of their wallets to participate in the Kylie Center. I think that would be a good use of your time and energy.
Can you imagine?
The despicable kinds of results that we've identified for 3 years are hard.
The despicable kinds of results that we have identified for 3 or 4 years. What does that mean? This guy is such a...
Itemize over and over and over again. But I had lunch with a friend in Connecticut over the weekend and was talking a little bit about what's going on in Peekskill at her request. And I had no agenda to be even talking about racism in Peekskill. And I talked about some of the specifics. I talked about examples. And I saw tears welling up in her eyes. And she's a brilliant, strong, competent woman. And she couldn't believe, under your watch, those things were happening. And finally, in tears, she yelled, "How, my God, how can they let them do this?" She wasn't talking to you. She's talking to us. She's talking to the media. She's talking to the churches and synagogues. She's talking to all the residents here. She's talking to the good people, people who pray and offer creeds and justice and peace and all those other things, and then behave like white, out-of-touch liberals, allowing you to behave the way you have. And I think it's despicable. I think it's hurtful.
White, out-of-touch liberals. That's what we have to title this.
And the only way that this is going to change is for you to be gone. You can't handle it, you don't understand it, and you've proved that to us for 3 years. I call on you to clean out your desk and get out of the way.
Now they applaud that, but he didn't say a damn thing. This is, and then when I got up there to speak, I wanted to talk about the weeds on the trees on the Bear Mountain Parkway. And I would just love to see them do something about that. And there's jobs, a lot of jobs, but I never even got to speak because that screaming, clapping crowd, it's really a mob. And when I heard about this no clapping law, I think I was in Florida, and it was like, what? Peekskill, New York, what? They're doing that, really? And you're like, you have to pay attention. And so, like most people, I think you believe it and think, oh, well, maybe the city council or the mayor or whatever is a little bit fascist or something, because nobody knows what she's putting up with. And these idiots, they don't get up there and ask for help. They get up there and scream and demand and make no sense whatsoever. And then if somebody gets up there, I struggle to find my words, much as I am right now. But in that silence, you find your way, and that's what it means to pray together. That's one thing that I've learned from the privilege of having been able to go down there and try to connect on that forum, in that forum. Anyway,